How can I stop my busy mind? A talk with Unmani.
So we have these monthly open webinars on different themes. So this month, this time today is the theme, how can I stop my busy mind? Which I feel is perhaps relevant for pretty much everyone. Well, this question is, it comes up when we are trying to stop our busy mind, right? We are then wondering, how can I do this? When we feel that our mind, maybe during meditation, particularly, we're trying to have a peaceful experience, and then it seems to be the opposite, that the mind becomes even busier in contrast to the experience of peace that we would like to have, or perhaps we remember from previous experiences. Or maybe not just when we're meditating, just in our daily life, we experience a busy mind. And what makes it uncomfortable is that often we experience that there are a lot of physical or emotional sensations that accompany these thoughts, these busy stories. And that makes the busy mind feel like something that we really would like to deal with or get rid of or change, because it's uncomfortable. And then the thought comes in saying, well, I would like to fix or deal with, or I wish my mind would just shut up. And it's a bit of a joke, really, because it's one thought commenting about all these other thoughts, saying, I wish they would all shut up. And this thought that is trying to stop the other thoughts is just more thought, right? So even if we have spiritual thoughts or non-dual thoughts, they can be helpful to some degree sometimes. They come with certain beautiful concepts that can help temporarily to calm the thinking or to remind us to be present. So some of these thoughts are useful, but essentially they are more thoughts. And we can even have a very spiritual busy mind, but it's still a busy mind. And then the trying to stop the busy mind, this trying creates a lot of uncomfortable sensations, because we are making certain thoughts not okay, and the rest, certain more spiritual thoughts, more okay or more preferable. Perhaps we have an idea that negative thoughts shouldn't be there, but only positive thoughts should. So we try to change negative thoughts to positive thoughts, because negative thoughts tend to create more of an uncomfortable experience, physical and emotional experience, whereas positive thoughts, we prefer the experience that goes along with those kind of thoughts. But whatever experience accompanies thoughts, whether they're positive or negative, these experiences are temporary, and eventually it will change. So even if you have a so-called positive or more expansive experience that goes along with certain thoughts, this will eventually change. And then there may well be a negative thought that comes in saying, well, I've done something wrong, it's changed, I should go back to how it was. And this creates more of this so-called busy mind, trying to get back to certain experiences, having preferences for certain experiences over others. And this will never create any sense of peace. So how do we deal with this busy mind in a different way? Perhaps we've got tired, perhaps even really, truly exhausted with trying to deal with the busy mind. Perhaps we've realized that by trying to deal with the busy mind with more mind, it simply doesn't work. Maybe we feel disillusioned with all these beautiful spiritual concepts, and we're at the end of our tether, even like trying to find a way out that brings more of a sense of peace and harmony and ease in our daily life or in our meditation even. Yeah. So sometimes in my experience, we need to get exhausted. We need to get disillusioned with all the trying, to deal with these kinds of thoughts and the mind, in order to see that it can't be done that way. So although it's uncomfortable, actually it's a good thing that you try and fail and try and fail and try and fail and go through the ups and downs and the pain and the discomfort and the frustration and the disillusionment of the thinking and the roller coaster of trying to get it and failing, so that you see for yourself that there is no way out of a busy mind using more mind. And this sounds very simple, but it's really not an obvious thing, because so often we are caught in this kind of trap where we think that the only tool that we have is the thinking. So we're trying to fix our experience, our suffering, with the thinking, even though it's the thinking that is causing the suffering most of the time. So when we see that we're kind of caught in this loop, first of all, seeing it is the first step, right? Recognizing the situation and feeling the discomfort of it, and seeing how hopeless it is. Really recognizing the hopelessness of that cycle of trying and failing is really important, to lose hope. Because as long as you have hope that one day you will find a way out of the busy mind using mind, then you will still be stuck in that. So losing hope that the thinking will ever be able to find a solution is a big part of finding more peace. And this sounds uncomfortable, and it is. It's about reaching the point where you're really frustrated and you feel like, what's the point in all of this? How am I, ever going to get out of this? There's no way. And perhaps you get depressed even. And then you might discover that, yeah, it's all thinking. So there is no way out using thinking. There is no way out. So then we see that actually the only way out is knowing that it is all thinking, and this is already a seeing, a knowing of it. So already you are aware of the whole circle of trying and failing and trying and failing. You're watching it. You're seeing, yeah, these are all thoughts, sensations, images, sounds, the whole play of experience, including the thinking and the emotions and, everything that's going on for this human. I am aware of all of that. And I am untouched by all of that, even though at the same time I might be fully touched. So you're already out of it, watching. And what I'm describing here is not a practice of witnessing. You know, that can be a useful practice when you are starting to see that you are not limited to what you think. Then you practice witnessing your thinking by taking a step further back, watching. But this is still a mind game. What I'm talking about is even further back. You know, it's not a doing. It's not a stepping back out of the thinking, because that's a thinking. That's an idea. I'm gonna witness my thoughts. That's the first step. You know, that's a nice stepping stone. But in the end, we have to let go of that one as well. So what I'm talking about is not any kind of doing, no effort. That's why it's more about losing hope, that any effort you might make will help. So trying and failing, checking out all ways that you might have hope, might work. You know, you have to check them all out so that you know for yourself. So you're not just believing what I'm saying or what other people might have said. And then for yourself, you see that there is simply no way of trying to get out of the thinking. The only way is to see it. And you're already seeing it. You know, it's not something that you need to now do. Okay, now I'm going to start to see it. No, it's not that. It's seeing that actually you are the seeing. The thoughts are arising in you. The thoughts are arising in you, and you are aware of them. So you are never touched by them. So even if the thinking is really busy, you are always at peace. Even if this body and this mind are very uncomfortable, you are always at peace. So it's not a doing, it's not a trying to be at peace. It's knowing that there's nothing to do. I am aware of the thinking. So we watch the busyness of the mind. It's welcome to be busy. There's no longer a trying to deal with it even. It's welcome to say whatever it likes. The thinking is free. You know, when we're trying to fix it all the time, then there's not a freedom there. You know, we're saying that I'm only free if my mind will be quiet. I'm only at peace if my mind will stop. But the real peace is not dependent on an experience of a quiet mind. So it's not dependent on an experience of a quiet mind. So a quiet mind can come and go. Yeah, it's nice, of course. You know, of course, we enjoy experiences of quiet mind, but they don't actually mean anything. You know, if we have an experience of a quiet mind, we know that this is going to pass, just like every experience is going to pass. Just like an experience of a busy mind is going to pass. All these experiences come and go in who I am as this awareness of it all. So we don't need to cling to an experience of peace or quiet mind, you know, because this is often the problem. Like we're trying to create this certain experience of a peaceful, quiet mind so that we can have a peaceful and quiet experience. Because we're focused on the experience. We're trying to change my experience, right? but the experience is changing. It's out of our hands. I am aware of the whole play of experience. I'm watching the show. So when we're not affected by, or we're not trying to change the experience is then free to just come and go and change as it does, right? The thinking has something to say or not, but actually, who cares? Who is the real question? Who cares? Who is trying to change it? Who needs the busy mind to become quiet? Right? Who needs a quiet mind? Who cares? When you believe that you are a separate entity trying to, as if you have control over your experience, and then you're trying to change and adjust your experience according to your preferences, this is basically suffering, because it will always try and fail. So this is what I mean about losing hope. We have to first lose hope that all of this, that any of this trying and failing can help your experience in a permanent way. Of course, sometimes it can change the experience temporarily, but we can never know permanent peace, permanent stillness by trying to fix our experience. So a true quiet mind is beyond the mind. It's who we are, already, always at peace. Always free, always whole. A busy mind can never touch it.